What if we want to show each other our toys? Like this djembe drum. Like this djembe drum.
Like this hacksaw Jim Duggan. Or this crusty burger that still works for some reason.
What does it do?
Do you hear it?
Well, hey.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, just Mike Lester.
What's up?
How's it going, man? No,
I'm great, man.
Dude, I saw your coming to the stage.
Excellent.
And I was all right, this guy's great. I don't understand why this guy's not a big name. Like I was excited. I was like, I think I just discovered somebody who isn't discovered yet.
I would love that. I would love to get discovered one of these days, but for now I have no complaints.
Dude,
I have no complaints.
what did you say?
That's an old set too, man. An interesting thing behind. I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain of that show. So our showcase was hosted by George Wallace.
Right.
You know him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bit like so. It was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He met me and he was like, I didn't think you'd be white, and then he just kind of turned away from me, and I was like, okay, that was a great interaction. And then
What a thing to say to somebody.
he was like, I thought you were gonna be black, and I was like, oh, okay. And then what
about you?
And then I'm like, what about my name? What are you, George? He seemed sleepy. He seemed a little sleepy.
You just threw something different at him, like something more obscure. Be like, yeah, okay, thanks, Jorge.
It's like, George, I love you so much. Where's this coming from?
That's a weird thing, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
My buddy that works for that company got me that spot, and we shot that in a break room that got turned into like a mini theater, whatever you want to call it,
club sort of thing.
Little club, yeah, a little intimate club where like a tapestry was blocking like a fridge and a sink. And yeah, exactly. And I just remember it like being like feeling so bad about it, like when I did it. Mm-hmm. And then I talked to a producer, and they're like, none of these ever go good. And I was like, what? This is like,
why would you do them if
this is the sixth season? And he's like, none of them ever go good. And I'm like, you think you would have figured that out by the sixth season?
Oh, this is all just a money scam to get money from the network.
It's not. It's like there's no way they make any money off of it.
There's nothing in this for us, and we just do it because what else? What else?
Yeah. I remember there was this guy on our showcase that flew out from Boston and just had like so we were doing like 6 to 10 minute sets, and this guy like blanked during his set and ran off stage, and George is like in the hallway. George Wallace is like, what? Why do I have to go back on? And they're like, the guy left. The guy ran off, George. And he's like, oh. And I was like, man, I get it being scary because it was like a 3-camera setup, but it was just like, they told us just like, do your set through the magic of editing. They're all going to look good. So,
and then they tell you none of them never go good.
They're like, they never go good. Editing. But we'll make them good. And it's like, I get that. Like you do enough of those things. It's like, yeah, it's, you just have to act like everything's going great.
But I also caught your Acme Theater, or what was that, a club?
Yeah, that's a club in Minneapolis.
I caught that also on YouTube, and you were like, I love what was it? The steam engine coming to a stop, or this an idiot steam engine.
I don't remember my act anymore.
the line, idiot steam engine.
The vaping, my vaping bit. Yeah, that I've gotten backlash for.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, like, it's such a smart thing when you're like,
who
would have thought that this like magical vape, like magical gas or whatever that you suck in is bad for you.
To think COVID came around the corner after the vape crisis, it's just like, man, nature's trying to tell us something, you know?
weed out all the. It's
Yeah.
like the Bill Burr. He's like 80% of you gotta go.
Yeah. Every fucking Jewel exec is moving to the Cayman Islands.
Like, well,
We destroyed millennials.
like, whoop, finally did it. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, didn't see that being a problem till at least 20 years from now when the emphysema really kicked in. Yeah.
I was also, I mean, I'm fascinated today to learn that. I mean, it's funny because I probably should have and probably did learn, and I figured that you seemed like somebody who was probably a big mark. So I wanted
dude,
to kind of discuss that a little bit with you and see like what's the stuff you're into. And
oh my god, I mean, I'm unapologetically like into any product. Like I'll watch AEW Dark every week. Like I've been such a huge fan since I'm glad I'll even watch fucking AEW Dark. Which is I mean it's fine. Like it to me it's like that's a good like background wrestling program, you know, like when you're doing something else you can just have it on. Like that's what's sad is like now unless I'm like sitting with my partner and watching something, like I can't really watch anything without doing something else. Like I'm either like
you have a tag team partner,
a life partner.
Well,
the ultimate tag team partner.
When I say partner, I don't mean my life partner. I mean my tag partner.
Who's your tag partner?
I don't have a tag partner anymore. I'm kidding. But
you don't work tag team?
I used to. I was in a tag team. I was in a tag team for like a good chunk of years. I was in probably 4 tag teams. I was in a tag team in CCW back when I was a teenager.
Oh shit, you were in CCW?
Yes,
dude, that's so awesome.
When I was a teenager, I was in a tag team called CKNY.
Okay.
With Niles Young.
Okay.
And then
incredible.
Kind of like more shindy level stuff. I wrestled.
Yeah.
I was in a tag team with Rick Feinberg.
Okay.
He co-hosts Wrestle Rock with me. It's another podcast that I host. A co-host. It's a pro wrestling podcast.
I would love to do that one too.
All right. Well, you're welcome. You're very welcome.
Because like getting back to it, like so I've been like a huge fan since. I mean, as long as I can remember, like 7 or 8. I remember going to like Video Universe, and like I'm 28, so it's like I really got into it during like basically the early 2000s. But like the only VHSs I was renting were like In Your House, Beware of Dog, and I remember like the first match that really blew my mind was like In Your House, Mankind versus Shawn Michaels. And then I was like automatically huge.
With all the gold dust debris all over the.
Yeah. I remember and it wasn't the Hell in a Cell with Mankind. It was it was that bump he took in that match where he took like a header through the announce table.
Oh yeah, the table just like stayed standing up, and he just kind of was like halfway, like half of them was inside of it, like head down.
He like disappeared into it, and I was like, "This is the best shit ever." And then so like Mick Foley was the guy I really gravitated to first, and then just like going through Video Universe, like watching WrestleMania 3. I think the first WrestleMania I ever watched though, like on VHS, was 14, and even thinking like at the time, like Austin Michaels was a great match, and then
that was the Castlemania T-shirt was based after the logo from WrestleMania 14.
Yeah. I mean, dude, wasn't that the dumpster match where it's like Cactus Jack
the New Age Outlaws
Charlie?
Yeah, I think that was on that show. Yeah, and they pushed the dumpster off the stage.
I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then like
the era of New Age Outlaws where they wore like tribal stuff.
Yeah,
it's so corny.
Yeah, and wasn't that like was that like gear they had left over from something, or were they like specifically trying to pull that look off?
I think that they were just like grasping at straws for anything. I don't think that they were specifically using it for anything else before that.
Yeah, because to me that seemed like a little gimmick infringement with like Cactus Jack's kind of get up, you know, with like the cheetah boots and then kind of his weird printed tights.
Yeah, but it wasn't as cool as Cactus Jack.
It was not. It will never be as cool. Road Dogg will never be as cool as Mick Foley.
I had a story. I did a show in Philly like a couple years ago, where Billy Gunn was on the show, and it was around Christmas time, and I was standing with one of my really good friends. He was my roommate at the time, and Billy Gunn grabbed the microphone and he was like, "Hey, if you ain't down with Christmas, I got 2 words for you. Suck it." And he was like, "I never celebrated Christmas in my life. I'm a Jew. Billy Gunn hates me."
I just love that he can do that on any indie show about anything. Like he's in like Hormel, Iowa, and he's like, "If you're not down with fucking Hormel chili, we got 2 words for you." And they're like, "Lake pollution." He can do it anywhere.
You could do it at like a movie premiere.
Yeah. That's probably why he left WWE, right? Because they're like, "This is not good for promo class at the Performance Center, Billy."
Well, I think
everyone
he was a coach down there.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know the exact details, and forgive me for getting it wrong, but I think he had like way over the amount of testosterone levels that humans should have in his blood.
He's huge.
Yeah, so like they he didn't test well as far like he didn't pass,
I gotcha.
He didn't pass a test for wellness policy.
Ooh, okay.
So that's why he got the beat it. 2 words for you, beat it.
He didn't test well. Dude, that's wow. I didn't know that. I love that. I love a good inside scoop.
Well, I can scoop it real hard all the time.
Yeah.
Scoop.
But yeah, I'm so happy with like the climate we're in with wrestling too, because there was a time, man, where it was like I was still like unapologetically a fan in my teen years, but like didn't you go through that phase where you kind of like kept it on the down low?
Well, no, I mean, not really. I couldn't keep it on the down low as much. I mean, I had to.
Well, because you started wrestling.
Yeah, I was wrestling when I was 14 years old. So I mean,
wow.
People knew, not everybody knew, but people kind of knew that I was training to be a wrestler, like while I was in high school and stuff. And like, it was funny because like I was the only long-haired kid in my school.
Yeah,
like, the other long-haired kids, like they weren't anywhere near me. I didn't see them. Like
no,
it's just, and I was kind of the weirdo. I was kind of the like, outcast in a way, and it was like some kids like who knew it and knew it was cool would like be like, "Ah, cool, let's talk about wrestling." But that was very rare. It was very, very rare.
Yeah, it's so weird because I went through the same thing and I wasn't even wrestling, but it's like, I mean, I remember like Eddie Guerrero passing away and being in 6th grade and like being so bummed out about it. And I mean, it happened in my city. It happened in Minneapolis.
Oh yeah.
So it especially hit close to home, and I was just like such a huge fan of his, and like no one understood, and kind of like just like people were like half joking about it, about like just like, "Oh, how he must have OD'd or something." And it's like it was just like so shitty. I was like, it's still a person.
Was that in 2006?
Yeah. I think it. This is what I remember, like sequence wise of that happening, was like watching him in Kennedy at the time have that match. That was like his last televised match, and being so stoked. I was like, because Mr. Kennedy was like my guy, like when he first came on to like SmackDown and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be such a great feud. And then the next week, just like everything, you know.
Did you watch the David Arquette documentary?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it, dude.
Mr. Kennedy in that?
Yeah, that shit ruled. Yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, especially the scenes of him on ketamine. Remember that? Did you watch it?
David Arquette on ketamine.
Yeah.
I was like, Mr. Ketamine. Ketamine.
He wouldn't be able to say it that intensely on ketamine. He'd be like, ketamine.
From Green Bay, Wisconsin.
My feet are falling through the earth. My feet are falling through the earth, if that makes sense. I popped for steroids or I would have been McMahon's son. He's just screaming that in the hospital bed.
He's like, didn't test well.
It was Hornswoggle. It should have been me. Oh, man. Yeah, Mr. Kennedy on ketamine. You got to do that as a character.
Mr. Ketamine.
Mr. Ketamine. My dad is a he's retired. He was a veteran though, so he goes to the VA a lot, and he's actually gotten ketamine treatments. So I've gotten like a secondhand look at that. And I know when he's on ketamine, because he'll call me and be like, you know what, Mike, I figured it out. Love is love, and there's a devil in all of us. And I'm like, this normal people don't say this. You know what I mean? Like,
do you have any experience with psychedelics yourself?
Yeah. So I as a youth, I've done like mushrooms 2 or 3 times, and then
did you say that there's a little bit of devil in all of us? Did you call people and say the same stuff?
No, I was like, I want to be outside. I want to be outside and watch like trees glisten. I wasn't doing any hardcore introspection. I'm not like a shell shock veteran like my dad. You know? I was 16, so I didn't have enough life experience to really get to the point where I was like, there's a devil in me.
Well, you talked a bit in your one set about smoking weed. Do you still do that?
You know, it's interesting. I'm actually coming up on a month of just like off everything, and it wasn't like a sober January thing. It was just like getting to a point in this quarantine where I needed to take a break. I just felt like I was doing too much and I needed to do a reset. But I'm a huge proponent. Like, it's definitely something I'm probably going to go back to.
Just say CBD was weed for weed.
It's the coward's weed.
For cowards.
I still believe that. I still believe that.
I mean, I think like your material is so smart and sharp, and I even like the I don't give a like this tape to put the festivals. Fuck the festival. You gave them the thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, doing a festival. That's what's keeping me from popping off. Going $2,000 in the red to bomb in fucking Dallas.
Yeah, it's the ridiculous amount of pay to play that is with anything. Like with wrestling, we have that. With it's wrestling and comedy are exactly the same in that way. Like,
yeah.
When it's like, oh well, I can mark out for myself and be like, whoa, cool, I'm the champion, I'm in the main event.
Yeah.
But like, I gotta spend an entire Saturday here and make less than $100.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, what risk versus reward makes this justifiable?
Yeah, I just don't see festivals as I've never seen them as very viable. Like, I think it's great to network at them, but it's like you can still network with the same comics and not have to. Especially at that time, I was just broke, so it's like I couldn't do festivals. So the festivals, you go to network and hopefully someone sees a set, but I feel like I've gotten along just fine without them. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I definitely respect anyone that, the pay to play thing, is so true.
Yeah. When you were talking about like the 3 camera set in the like fake club.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I'm getting like anxious thinking about like, I've never filmed anything like my sets or anything like anything. It's like, I don't want anyone to see anything I do because I'm not good yet. Like I
sure.
Of course I know I'm good, but I want to be better than just good. I want to be great before I
want to be ready.
Right. Exactly.
You don't even have to be great. You just have to be ready. I think, so I was taping a thing for Epics a few years ago, that my set didn't make air, but my buddy Shane Moss, who's a great comic, he's done a ton of amazing stuff. He's got like a special on Netflix. He's got a great podcast called Here We Are, where he just interviews scientists. But he was like,
I've heard him on Duncan Trussell and
so
Pete Holmes.
great.
Mm-hmm.
And I love those podcasts too.
His story about breaking his legs.
Breaking his fucking feet, dude. He's great. I've actually opened for him a few times on the road because, again, out of that Epics taping, we just struck up a good conversation and formed a good friendship, and we'll still text. But a great piece of advice he gave me was all those pay-to-play things and all those open mics and all those one-nighters, he's like, that's the time to stress out, but this is just like, fuck it, like you did all of those to do this well, you have to put the reps in. It's like shining your shoes versus showing them off now.
Right.
So he was like, there's nothing to worry about because this is just, it comes down to the edit, all the shit's going to be edited anyways. So it's okay to screw up. Just don't run off the stage halfway through your set and leave George Wallace flummoxed, scrambling to do fucking airplane material.
How did he get the people back? Did the people?
He didn't. I'm gonna be pretty transparent. He really didn't, and I was the next comic too.
Oh, man.
I was like, man, it's a good thing I really don't care.
Have you been doing virtual shows or anything?
Man, no, like I did a few towards the beginning, but I'm just set with like working on other stuff till stand-up comes back. I did a few like headline spots in the fall before we got shut down again in Minnesota, but now it's just like with kind of like we just detected the new like Brazil strain here and it's winter, so I would rather just play it safe. Because now it's like, even if you get booked, like you can only go somewhere where the capacity is at like 25%. And if you're not a name, it's just like you're doing a super spreader event for like $100.
Not super shredder, not Kevin Nash.
No, I wish. I would do a set just for him.
He's the only person in the audience.
Yeah. Just while he fucking spews off about Republicans.
I don't know much about. It's funny because I met him once, very very peripherally. Like I did a show in Nashville like maybe 2 years ago, and he was there, and he was at a table far away with Scott Hall, like signing autographs, and I was like, "Oh, there he is! All right, hi." But for the most part, I don't like to talk to names because they're so mostly super far up their own asses. And it's like I've got and I kind of get this from wrestling too. Like I've got to kind of I get this, I apply it kind of to comedy too. And I'm like, all right, I gotta make sure I treat you right. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how you treat me, even though we're both in the same building. We're both doing the same thing in the same building. Why do I have to treat you different than you treat me when, like, I just think that it's all, you meet the same people coming up as going down, that whole thing. So as long as and this is a funny thing. I was I was just thinking of this the other day because I just found out that Screech, Dustin Diamond, had passed away.
Dustin Diamond passed away?
Yeah, in January this month. I did not know.
Dude, that shit didn't even trend, really?
No, not at all. And I was like, well, how fleeting relevancy is.
Dude, you want to know something crazy? I opened for Screech.
Okay. Well, I was going to get into some Screech stories too. So tell me your Screech story, and then I'll tell you mine.
I mean, luckily he did like one show at this old club called the Joke Joint, and I had to pick him up. and I picked him up outside the comedy condo. And he comes out and he's like sniffing, you know, he's like sniffing still. And he's like, sorry, I had to pick out a shirt. Like he was like 20 minutes late to like coming out to my car, and he's wearing like a pullover fleece thing. And I'm like, okay, you had to pick out a shirt. And he's like,
that's what you arrived on?
Yeah. He was like wearing the most basic fleece pullover, like sweaty. And he did not speak to me the whole car right after that. I just drove and we're in silence. I'm like, who is this guy? Because it's like I don't give a fuck about Screech. So we get to the joke joint, and he did like a special event. And I was with my buddy Greg. Greg was hosting. I was featuring, and he was doing a special event. He sold like, I think it was like 11 tickets. He basically like ripped into people like during his headline set. I left. That's one of the nice things about being a feature is you can bounce eventually.
Well, you were his ride.
I don't give a shit. Fuck Screech, dude. Like I feel bad that he passed away because I feel like the Screech demise and rise doc I feel like could have been great, but now we won't get to see that.
The David Arquette
insert
Screech into the
Screech should have become a boxer or something.
No, because he was in wrestling. Remember he did the Hulk Hogan Legends of Wrestling, whatever, like that Hulk Hogan Wrestling Federation show.
Oh where it was like
with Dennis Rodman and Butterbean.
Yeah, wasn't it like Mr. Perfect versus Hogan in that too?
I don't remember what like the marquee of it was, but
yeah. But anyway, so I leave the show, and my buddy Craig sends me a video of Screech on stage with the mic between his legs, like pantomiming it's a penis and like doing this. And he's like, "Are you upset you left?" I was like, "Yeah, kind of. I should have got a second shot of that." But
the mic is a penis is the hackiest thing.
Dude, like between his legs stuck and I'm like, what? God, I want to see what fucking bit this was now. But yeah, that's my Screech story.
Okay.
Probably one of the less crazy Screech stories. What's your Screech story?
So after he did the wrestling thing, pretty soon after that, he did maybe that was after the celebrity boxing and after the celebrity rehab and all those shows. There's a celebrity wrestling. It was the guy who promotes celebrity wrestling, celebrity pro wrestling. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
But, celebrity boxing is also what it's called. And they had him come in, and there was like a thing that was like at a press conference on like a Thursday. And I went to that because they wanted me to like promote the fight that I was supposed to have on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I went there, and everybody was coming up to him and trying to take pictures with them. And like, everybody was like, "Hey, blah," and like trying to like get in selfies with him and stuff. And I was just like, I don't care. What? Like, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And then the show came on Saturday, and everybody again was doing that. And I was like, here's the thing. I know that here everybody's making a big deal about him, but like in real life, he ain't over. And I know like he's not over. I get it. Like I bet you, nobody in real life likes him, and that probably really sucks and is really sad. And I'm not gonna enable the delusions that he has of being over. And so like I was in the ring, like doing some spots, like before the show ever started, just trying to like practice stuff, and and then I just like started sitting on the side of the ring, and I was texting or something, and he came over and sat next to me and started talking to me, and I was like, oh, he's talking to me because I wasn't selling him, selling him, so now he's coming over to talk to me, and he's like, so how long you been doing this? And like, we went through the whole rigmarole of that shit. And I started talking to him. We started talking about comedy. And at the time I was just doing open mics and stuff. and we started talking about that, and I was like, because he was talking to me about how annoying it was that people would come up to him and ask him like when he's going to be back on TV. Like people think it's just that easy, just to be like, oh, it's your decision that you're not on TV. Like people come up to me and they're like, when are you going to go pro? And I'm like, oh, when I feel like it. Right now, I currently don't feel like it. So, once I feel like it, once I get a little itch to get up there, sure, I'll go.
What is going pro?
Right. It's pro wrestling. It's just by the nature of
pro
being a wrestler.
Yeah.
Who's a pro wrestler, you're a pro. Right.
You wrestled in CZW. To me, you're a pro.
Sure. But I mean, that was like the best era of CZW back. I mean, 2002, 2003, 2004, in that era, like the early 2000s CZW, like it stopped counting after 2006 or something.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, Screech.
Screech. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit here and there, and then I was like, okay, see you later. And I went and had my match. He did whatever his schmaz was. And then like they were like, oh, there's like an after party. There's like an after party.
Oh no.
At this bar. Everybody's got to go to this bar. So I went, and he was like, he came up to me and he was like, hey man, you want to smoke hookah with me? So like people were smoking hookah at this bar. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And I've never done it, but sure. And this is, I'm gonna say that the year was probably 2010.
Oh, dude, peak hookah.
Peak hookah
bars everywhere. I remember. Oh my god, so that's how you just fell out of my social circle. Was when you're like, I got this new hookah flavor, and it's just like we're done.
It's the same thing as the
CBD.
CBD, yeah.
It's just shittier CBD. Like my buddy has a hookah rig. He lives in LA, and he's just like, yeah, I just can't catch my wind on this hike. And I'm like, you're fucking huffing goddamn flavored charcoal all day. like you already have asthma. Like you're huffing flavored charcoal and then trying to hike in the most polluted area of the country. I can't catch my wind because of this pollution. I'm like, no, dumb fuck. You're fucking smoking bath salts out of a goddamn lamp. That's what that shit looks like. It looks like a big.
I'll get back to the Screech thing. But I have a bit that I think in your voice would be fucking really good. Like,
I'll take it. I'll take anything.
No, I mean, I'm still using it, but absolutely.
No, come on, Corey.
You can act. We'll race to see who gets to record it first.
Okay, who gets who gets it on Coming to the Stage season 16?
We're like, none of them come out good.
Yeah. One of the fucking whose line is it anyways, guys? Fucking host it.
So the bit is I talk about Warren G and Nate Dogg had a song called Regulators in the 90s.
Yeah.
And in the song, he says, he tells it like a story. And in the one part, he's like, well, I hooked the left on 2-1 in Lewis. Some brothers shooting dice. So I said, let's do this.
Yep.
Basically, he gets out of the car and they pull a gun on him and they're robbing him. And then later on in the song, he says, they took my rings. They took my Rolex. I looked at the brother, said, damn, what's next? I'm like, wait, so you mean to tell me you went to an illegal dice game with people you didn't know, and you were wearing rings and a Rolex, and they're the assholes?
It's like, did you not go through DARE, Nate Dogg?
Hey, Warren G, you're not very good at this. I hope that G doesn't stand for gangster, because absolutely you need to go back to gangster school, because that's not how you do it.
No, you don't go to sketchy places and nice stuff. You got to wear like Massimo and slippers, and then you'll be left alone.
Just wear some flops.
Just wear some Target stuff. Wear some sweats. You know,
like these. Let's hear the rap. Let's hear the rap from those guys' perspective. We're playing an illegal dice game, and this fucking guy walks out. It's an illegal dice game. This guy walks out and he goes, "What's up?" And he's got rings and a Rolex. We're not gonna rob him.
He probably left out the part where he like started it. He's like, you know who I am? Just smacked him, and he left it out.
He's like, you know Snoop Dogg? Yeah. Snoop Dogg's my friend.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg blocked me. Snoop Dogg blocked me on Twitter. What the fuck do you know? He left that part out, didn't he? I don't know when the song came out. Snoop Dogg blocked my phone number.
Anyway, so at the bar, at the after party, at this after party, I'm hanging there.
You're smoking Aladdin's fucking lamp with Screech.
Me and Screech are smoking this hookah, and he goes, "Hey, heard your girlfriend just broke up with you," and I was like, "Yeah." It's not really something.
Wow.
With you. He was like, "How long you were together?" And I was like, 3 years. He's like, "When'd you break up?" I'm like, "A couple of days ago." And he's like, "I'm gonna get you laid tonight, bro."
Oh man. Yep, that's how you fix it.
And I was like, Screech has declared that
Screech is a monster. Screech is like that caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland if he had Asperger's. That's what I picture. He's just like splayed out smoking hookah. He's like, you know, the fucking fix to everything, Corey. The fix to heartbreak is
Cheshburger's cat.
He's like that caterpillar if you're like a closeted racist.
So then
you have to, the header for this episode has to be R.I.P. Screech. So the executors of Screech's estate can come after us.
Hey, you were saying a lot of stuff about Dustin Diamond. We don't really appreciate that.
Well, meet us in the ring, bitch.
You know, before I get back to the story of him saying he's gonna get me laid, let's also remember the story that maybe like a year ago, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, Screech killed a guy.
Yeah, on Christmas, like the day after Christmas.
He was like, I was showing the story to my friend, and I was like, yeah, he killed a guy at a Christmas party. Somebody called his fiance fat, and I was like. And then they were like, well, was his fiance fat? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, well, then he's an asshole.
I feel like the world really missed out on like a Screech Jim Cornette crossover podcast. Just them gloating about being cuckolds.
Anyway, so then Screech says, "I'm gonna get you laid tonight, bro."
Yeah.
So then there's like these groups of girls at the bar, and he says, he goes, "Hey, this is my friend Corey. He's a really funny comedian. He's a very good wrestler, and he's got a huge dick.
Yep.
See you later." And he walks away.
Oh no!
These girls are like, "So do you just like? Is your job that you just like hang out with Screech all the time?" I was like, I just met him on Thursday. I don't know. And they were like, "So were you gonna like buy us drinks or whatever?"
Oh my god! What year was this?
2010.
Oh god! Just peak hookah. Just peak hookah where Screech could fucking run amok. Screech thinks that life is a porno. He's like,
really chasing skirts out there.
This is my friend Corey. He's an independent contractor in 2 fields. He's dumb enough to hang out with me, and I've seen his penis.
So then I was basically, I'm not buying anybody any drinks.
No shit.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but I'm actually homeless right now. My girlfriend took care of me 3 days. You're gonna buy me drinks?
I am actually homeless. It's the greatest follow-up to a Screech setup. And Screech is just in the back like, oh, it's this big. He's got like the hookah hose up his ass, like he's clenching. He's just like out of his mind.
So that was my Screech story.
I'm actually homeless. And Screech is like, I knew we were friends for a reason. Me too.
You want to split a cab? We'll sleep in it for the night.
Yeah. Let's just fucking run. Oh man. Oh, that's so funny. My face hurts. That's very good. R.I.P. Screech.
Where was I heading before I started talking about Screech? I was heading somewhere.
I have no idea. It doesn't matter just off of the Screech payoff. It really doesn't.
So sorry, go ahead.
No, I got nothing.
What's the name of your podcast?
It is called I Love You Mana. We talk about the children's card game Magic the Gathering while I interject with kind of what I do throughout. I host with my buddies Zach and Tor. But it's just incredible. It's we have like 100+ episodes out now. They're all available on iTunes. Go back in the archives. There's a lot of character work.
Is it required to know things about Magic the Gathering?
No, literally Steven Seagal works at a B-Dubs Express in our podcast universe.
Oh, okay.
And he'll drop in from time to time. Yeah.
I didn't know B-Dubs had an express.
Yeah, it's a B-Dubs Express. Yeah. It's the greatest advent of the 21st century.
You know, Buffalo Wild Wings is already so expensive. It's too expensive. I mean, it's all right. This episode brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Dude, I fucking wish. Get on board, B-Dubs. I'd love to do a B-Dubs ad campaign. Oh, man.
We just do stuff where we're like watching those big screens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Watching pro wrestling on those big screens because
they do that. They do that.
A big sports fan.
Yeah, they do Dynamite Night for sure. Which is fitting because if you go like above medium heat level, you're gonna have some dynamite coming out. You know what I mean, Corey?
Yeah, you go because of it being diarrhea fuel.
You never feel good when you eat B-Dubs. Like no part of it is like rewarding besides like the first bite of the first wing.
I'm gonna isolate this and have it be just an ad.
And then it's just like a very quick decline of the enjoyment. You're like, holy fuck, my body is chocked full of salt right now. I'm already like on the cusp of sharding my pants. And I'm like wing 3 in of like Asian Zing should not have that effect at like the medium level.
With garlic aioli. More like garlic a-holy.
Yeah. Garlic parm is rough. That's even saltier. That shit looks like crack rocks when it comes out. It's got so much salt on it.
Do you also have guests on your show?
Yeah, we've had people on here and there. We had like a Magic the Gathering Rookie of the Year on, but not really. It's just generally the three of us yelling at each other. But I love it. It's hard to explain. You just have to go listen to it. It's worth the time. We have a great Discord community that we're always super active on. I Love You Man on Discord. But yeah, it's just 3 buds hanging out, unmedicated, you know. We all should be. We're all diagnosed with something, but we're all fucking just letting it ride, you know. Every recording, we're rolling the dice.
So there's never like a, it's weird because like I I'm a guest on a lot of people's podcasts, and a lot of times when I'm on people's podcasts, they're like, "Hey, I have this and this and this and this and this and this and this I want to talk about, and this is the format in which we do it." And I'm like, "No, I don't want that."
No, we don't. We'll have a loose topic that maybe we'll stick to for 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden, like, Tor is drunk and talking about Mark Antony, like Cleopatra's boy toy, for 30 minutes, and Zach's like questioning his life decisions and like applying for grad school while he's recording or some shit. We'd have you on though. We'd love to have you on.
I would love to, man. I mean,
we'll get you on there.
Here's the thing. I have to say, I am a nerd in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at anything. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
So I've never been good. Okay, I'm not good at reading. I can't see very well. Like my
I can't see. I love how you're a nerd at seeing.
Right. So when I was a kid, like my attention span also very bad. So I didn't read comic books or anything, but I would like watch the cartoons of comic book characters. And I can't learn to play video games because like I hate failing. I don't want to just keep failing 100 times. Sure. And like, well, you just got to stick with it. I'm like, well, I got to just stick with something productive. I want to do something that means something.
Yeah.
And it's like, it feels like, when you play Duck Hunt, when you miss the ducks and the dog comes up and laughs at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, I feel like I don't need that shame. I don't need that dog's shame on me.
That'd be a better game if you could like shoot that dog.
Oh, I've shot the dog every time. I had that discussion with everybody. You just shoot it. It doesn't blast or anything, but as long as you pretend.
Yeah. I love that. I can't see.
My eyesight's very bad. I'm a little dyslexic.
Okay.
So not really a big fan of like reading stuff. But I mean, as a kid, now I get it now. I can do it now. I have the comprehension, but my attention span for comprehending a story written out in front of me.
Yeah.
Even if there was pictures and fun stuff, I just want to like flip through the pages and look at all the pictures and not read all the stuff.
Yeah, we'll do an outline, but we'll never like go. I hate podcasts that are like segment scripted, stuff like that. Yeah.
I do a thing on this show, and I have a couple things I'll hit. I'll make sure I hit a couple things, and then I'll usually start like heading towards the go home.
Sure.
So,
sure.
Just a few things, and then I'll send you off right into the sunset. Hot dog and a handshake, as they say.
Yep.
And one of those things being, what's really important to me is this stuff is all outliving us. Like this audio, this timestamp, this record right here. I like to have the opportunity to say on the record that I'm happy to be a resource for you in any way, and I'm glad that we've become friends. I've had fun here hanging with you today.
Yes.
I'm glad I discovered your comedy, and it inspires me, and I appreciate you. And if you ever need a friend, I'm always here for you. I'll be here. You need a friend in Philly, a pro wrestling friend.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know how many of those you got, but you got one now.
I really appreciate it. I feel like you're about to tell me you have cancer or something.
Nope. Sagittarius.
Just gratitude. I'm terminal with gratitude, Mike.
Terminal A.
Well, same here, man. Anyway I can help you.
Yeah, man. So I love to give the opportunity, considering it's on the record, and this is the first like conversation we've had.
Yes,
everything has been just like DMs back and forth.
Yep.
So this is like the first conversation we're having, and it's delightful. I enjoy it. So I want to give you the opportunity to maybe like ask me any questions you've got for me.
Oh man,
or like anything you want to say whilst on the record.
I mean, do a lot of people ask you because I'd love to lean back into the wrestling thing a little bit.
Okay.
What is like the craziest person you've ever shared a locker room with that's like a known name? Like, have you shared a locker room with New Jack?
Yes, I have some New Jack stories. Yeah.
I just love how New Jack is my favorite because he'll just admit it. He'll be like, yeah, mass transit. I was going to slit his throat. And they're like, whoa, New Jack.
So, I was at a show in Philly. I mean, I'm from Philly, so of course I know New Jack, right? So I was at a show. It was at like the this rec center, and the company was like really like they didn't draw very well.
Mm-hmm.
So like before the show would start, just get in the ring and like every show, you just get in the ring and kind of roll around. And you try moves with somebody. But there was like, family and friends sitting in the crowd, like, which, is normal for shows when people like wives and families and members and stuff and rides, people who gave wrestlers rides are at the show. I was in the ring wrestling around with a friend, and Jack comes in. He goes, "Motherfuckers, there's Mox in this building. Motherfucker, there's Mox in the building. Get the fuck out of the ring." And I was like, he's like, they letting people in. Get the fuck out of the ring. Like, he's like, they opened doors. Apparently they had opened doors and were letting people in, and still the people looked the same as when it was just the family and the friends because the place didn't draw.
There are marks in the building. I was just expecting him to like pull out a gun and start like shooting into the room.
So I mean, I've told the story on this podcast before. So then he's like, then he does this like locker room meeting, and we all have to listen to him. Yeah. And he's like, basically the moral of the story in the meeting was, all of you ain't shit. He was like, you ain't ever been on TV, you ain't shit. You ain't ever been in a video game, you ain't shit. You ain't ever like whatever, you wrestle for the WWF, you ain't shit. You ain't done this, you ain't shit. And he like ECW, WCW, if you ain't that, you ain't shit.
Sure.
And if you got anything to ask me, and if I feel like answering you, I'll answer you. Like, it was basically like, somebody told me that I had to say something to everybody, so I've decided to say all these things.
I decided to tell you all your fucking failures.
So I put my gear on. And I was told that I was told in my gear, New Jack came up to me and he goes, "Motherfucker, you look like a used condom." He told me I look like a used condom. I don't know how that would apply to how I look right now.
It means he likes you.
So I was like, I hope he. In my head, I was like, he's mad at me for seeing me in the ring earlier when there was motherfucking marks in the building.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but probably he didn't know that I was the same person who was in the ring as he was saying that stuff to me in the back.
Yeah.
Then they tell me, you're in a gauntlet match with New Jack. And I said, what? What? And they're like, yeah, well, so basically what's going to happen is like, you're going to go out there with this fat guy, and you're going to like, and you guys are going to do a bunch of spots, and you're going to be fast, and he's going to get all blown up from like having to keep up with you.
Sure.
And then he's going to hit you with a move and pin you, and you get out of there. And then New Jack's going to come in, and he's going to like carve this dude up. After you get him all winded and blown up, and like sucking air, he's like going to be short of breath, and he's going to be close to death. Then New Jack's going to come out, and he's going to fucking kill him.
That's, hey man, that sounds like, good to me.
Am I participating in the murder of somebody right now? Like, am I playing a part in a crime? It really feels like I'm being involved in a crime.
If I'm not playing the role of the guy that gets carved up.
Right.
Sounds good.
Anyway, I was still like, he's mad at me for this, and then he's mad at me for the other, and then he insulted me. He's clearly, once I get pinned, I better leave. Like, or I'm gonna get some too.
He's gonna poke some holes in that prophylactic.
So I was like, 1, 2, 3, roll right out, go back right in the back, and I changed my gear. And I'm like, give me another match. And I inserted myself into a different match, so there would be absolutely no way he would know that was me.
Yeah.
But he killed that guy. He killed that guy that night.
Mass transit too.
Yeah. Mass trans shit. But apparently the guy bled a lot, and
I bet with New Jack, I bet.
I don't know what happened to him, but I know he doesn't have teeth now.
Oh, dude, that's brutal.
Yep.
Wow. Does New Jack do like meet and greets, or what's his merch table like? Is it just like the blade he used? He's like, I'll sell you this blade. I just fucking carved this guy up with.
He's like, come up here. I'll sign something. I'm not going to talk to you too much. I'm not going to stab you. No more Mr. Knife Guy.
I feel like New Jack's merch table is he just lets you leave unscathed if you give him money.
I think that's the same thing with me, like trying to not talk to names. Like I was telling you, I try to avoid them as much as possible because, like, sometimes they have like a level of cockiness, a level of arrogance. The thing, like, I think the way I probably look at it, maybe people go like, being in the business versus making a living in the business are different to these people. You know what I mean? Like, so if I'm a wrestler who wrestles 4 times a month, and I'm just as good as what you're seeing on TV, but I'm not making a living at it, I'm not in it. I'm not in the actual business in their mind.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm that easily dismissed from them, they don't deserve my time either. I mean, I appreciate the roads that they paved for me if they're, in it longer than I've been in or whatever, but most of the time I'm just another forgettable person at an indie show.
Yeah.
Unless they're Screech and they watch my matches.
What's 2021 looking like for you in the wrestling space? Like so far, nothing. There just isn't a lot going on because of COVID.
WrestleMania, watching wrestling. I'm just going to be watching it and being a fan.
You'll be watching it, yeah. It's the same thing with comedy. There's just not a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm just watching it. I mean, watching that. I mean, now is a time when like contracted wrestlers can make like a living more. There's more of an option for it. So it's like seeing the people who I've crossed paths with kind of like getting rich off of the business.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat to see because I feel like anybody who's in anything, they're not, nobody's like a in competition with me. I don't feel like anyone's like because they're succeeding, it means that I'm not because they are. Yeah. I don't really look at that anyway. I'm like, well, they're fine to be what they are for that. And I'm going to be what I am for this. So like, obviously our voices are going to be different. Our perspectives are going to be different. Our audiences are going to be different. Yeah. We're going to play to something different. So like I always say, anytime anybody who I know interests me in some way, I'm like, oh, start your own podcast. It's not like I would more persuade anybody to like do the things that they want to do. And if those things are the same things I want to do, doesn't mean that's competition to me. Because
no,
tons of other things I'm doing too.
I mean, especially now, like the past few years, it's just like gone on to show that there's room for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
There's room for everyone, and the only real way you kind of fail in anything is by giving up. So you just got to hang in there.
You just got to hang in there, Screech.
You gotta hang in there, Screech. To me, a good example is like I remember going to like there was like this carnival that would go on like in the Twin Cities. It was called like Duck Days, and they would have like it was called like Midwest Impact Wrestling. And I remember that was like the first time I saw Eric Cannon. You know, like he was wrestling at like this Duck Days carnival. And like look at what he's gone on to do with like First Wrestling and like being the PBR wrestler. You know,
what does he do now?
What's he do now?
Yeah.
He's still wrestling, dude.
I mean, I haven't seen him since 2013, probably. Like
he's still pretty much regularly wrestling, and he's built like a decent following on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah, he's stuck with it.
Good.
He stuck with it. And when
He's
I met him,
good guy.
Yeah, super nice dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could tell there was something there. The same thing with I think it was Darren Corbin was another Midwest guy I saw early on. That yeah, he's still gutting it out. So
well, did you know Mondo?
I only knew Mike Mondo, right?
Sick Nick Mondo.
Oh yeah, I know Nick Mondo.
Sick Nick Mondo.
I thought you meant Spirit Squad Mikey.
Nope. I know him too, but no, not him. No.
Yeah, I know Sick Nick. Yeah, I've seen his stuff.
He's a producer for AEW now. Like he does all the promos like for Moxley and stuff, like all the pre-taped stuff in the back. But it's funny because I was thinking about him earlier too when we were talking about Mr. Ketamine, because Mr. Kennedy did Mondo's movie back in the day. Mondo's first movie he did, and I watched that. And
dude, that's fucking great.
That was I would say probably 2007 or something like that. Yeah. Mondo's first movie, Fighting the Still Life, was the name of the film. But it's cool to see like he is really trying to make a mark for himself as like an actor and a filmmaker. Yeah. Did you see the Trade on Amazon Prime?
No.
It's his documentary that he made about himself. It's really cool. I recommend checking that out.
I got to write that down. The Trade. Yeah, but it just goes to show that, I mean, in comedy and wrestling, you just gotta stick with it, dude. Stick with it, enjoy it, and you know, be happy for your friends because it's so hard to even get like an opportunity.
Are you a fan of Incubus?
The band?
Yes.
No, I've never really listened to a lot of Incubus.
Okay. So they have a song that I like to apply to, like the lyrics from it. I like to apply it to like most things. Where it's like, it says, I see you in line, dragging your feet. You have my sympathy. The day you were born free. That is your privilege. And it's basically like, if you find, and it basically then says, find yourself a back door. So it's so like, you're standing in line for this long and you're not getting anywhere. So go find the back door. Go find the back door to whatever it is. Basically, like there's more than one way up the mountain. Like
absolutely.
So get yourself up whatever the mountain is. And I always say to redefine what the next level is for you and what your goals actually are. So you just kind of like somebody keeps telling you no, just stop asking.
Yeah. There's a ton of ways to and I don't even know how people gauge success. Like, is it exposure? Is it making money? You know, like, is it? I read this. What was the? God, I would have to get my phone to read this quote. It was like a fucking profound Albert Einstein quote on my sober app. But it was like I don't know. It was like, why lead a professional life when you can lead a fulfilled one? So like that resonates with me, because the last thing I want to do is like kind of, because from a professional sense, it's like I've worked at startups, like I've kind of run the gambit for like general labor, and to me it's like finding happiness in life is just like, at this point, doing what I want to do. And then as far as making an income, just like doing something that you don't like dread getting up for the next day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like trying to shed kind of that fucking, economically driven shit is what I'm trying to do.
Have you ever heard of Ikigai?
No.
It's like the Japanese belief that like it's I'll send you this. There's like this diagram where it's kind of like your reason for waking up in the morning. It's like what you're good at, what you love, what what you care about, what can change the world in a better way. All sort of like helps these Japanese people grow old. Like you see a lot of older Japanese people. It's like they have that like core Ikigai values is like what I can get paid for, what I'm good at. It's a really cool way. I had it like as my background on my phone for a while. It's a cool way to think about like, well, like maybe you start like seeking what your Ikigai is instead of going like, well, I tried everything and I'm just going to be like everybody else because tried everything and nothing's working.
I mean, I feel like that's an overused term too. Like everybody else, it's like I don't think that's true. I think like self-growth and self-development is so important. And then like all the other stuff is just gonna come eventually. Like a good example to me is like Chad Daniels is a super successful. He's a super successful comic now, but that's like 20 plus years of, kind of falling into that everyone else thing. But now it's like he's the most streamed comic on Pandora because he just put in that work and enjoyed the ride, and he didn't like get bitter about it, and he didn't he just that's kind of a goal too, is I just don't want to wind up like one of these older people that are just like bitter about their peers finding success or
that lends right back to what I was saying about like, because somebody else is doing well, that doesn't mean that's going to stop me from also doing well. Like I can do well too. It's not that I think the idea probably comes from the fact that like in whatever vocation it is, so let's just use pro wrestling as an example. There's only so many jobs in pro wrestling, and there's tons of people doing it. So if somebody else gets a job, then that's one less job out there that I could get. But at the same time, like I'm different than them. You know what I mean? So if I get a job too, it's not like they got to choose between me or them. It's like we'll just be there together or something. You know what I mean? It's just.
Generally, people that put you in that position too aren't people you want to associate yourself with, anyways.
Yeah, I see that.
Like I've worked with people in comedy where it was like, or just like acting, especially because I really got into that in like 2016, and just like what a lot of like these I call them like career actors because that's really all they do. And like how much of their self-worth is based on like booking or like casting director notes. And I got to peek into that. And I was like, I got to fucking stay away from that.
Well, it's weird when I jumped from like not jumped from to one, but when I was doing more acting gigs too, and like going to auditions and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to in wrestling. Like when you go in and you see other people there, you're just like, hi, what's up? And you just like shake everybody's hand and you introduce yourself to everybody. In acting jobs or in not in acting jobs as much, but in auditions, nobody wants to look at you.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Nobody wants like they want to like they avoid. It's kind of like the same way, like the bigger gyms, like LA Fitness. People won't look at you in your eyes for some reason. Like some gyms you go to, like my gym, everybody says what's up to you right away because it's like a little hole in the wall gym. But if you go to like LA Fitness, you just like give a little head nod to somebody and they like look away quick, like they didn't want to look. They didn't want to see them. They didn't want to see you seeing them looking at you.
Yeah. even on set, like even when you like book a part, people can be that way, and it's like we made it, you know, like we got booked. You can fucking drop it. Like we're here for 13 hours shooting a fucking Best Buy commercial. Like you can relax, okay? You're a classically handsome man, and I'm clearly the guy that's fixing the fucking dishwasher and doing the whoopsie.
Can we shoot a Best Buy commercial sketch?
Absolutely.
I just want to do some sketches with you, man.
I went on a run of like booking because Best Buy shoots a lot of their like in-house industrial training stuff here. So it's like if you ever get hired at a Best Buy, chances are you will see me in a video. Because there was a year I booked like 12 in a row.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So a couple more things, just two more things, and then get out of here. So I want to remind you how I was saying how this stuff's outliving us and how it's on the record.
Absolutely.
I like to do the segment that I call audio time travel.
Sure.
Right. So let's say your partner or your kids or your loved ones find this recording of Mike Lester.
Yes.
20 years from now.
Yeah.
And you can explain to them what 2020 and 2021 have been like for you and what this timestamp is on this year. And it's kind of like a message for a way to become a better version of themselves, to kind of inspire your loved ones.
Oh man. So 20 years from now?
Whatever long gap.
Yeah. Because me and my partner were talking about this today, about how like the Earth will probably be like uninhabitable in like 15.
Oh man. Okay, so yeah, never mind.
So like 10 and 1. No. I would say you know, work on yourself, work on being nice to other people, and you know, don't act out in a selfish way to where it's going to put others in jeopardy. And yeah, you'll probably still be wearing masks and like some sort of like hazmat suit. So just like keep those in check. I would say keep your hazmat suits in check, and work on yourself, and try to not get hooked on soda, you know, because that's a bitch to kick that.
It's like drink hookah.
Drink bong water. Like I feel like bong water is less addicting than a Diet Coke. Drink water. Water with lemon is very underrated. Water with lime slaps. Teach your children to not drink. Yep. Water is bomb.
Jug life, bro.
Jug life. Yeah, I do glass. I got a weird old orange juice jug that's glass somewhere that I just fill with fucking water laced with lemon. But yeah, stockpile fresh water, and don't be a shithead. And
that's it. That's it. We're done. Stockpile water. Don't be a shithead.
I mean, that's basically like I mean, fresh water's gonna be currency in fucking 20 years, so I don't know what to tell these motherfuckers. If you're unfortunately my offspring, I'm sorry. You're so gravely mentally ill. It's not your fault. Daddy started smoking pot when he was 14, so your frontal lobe is my fault. And if you wanna desecrate whatever mass grave they throw me in, go for it. I don't give a fuck.
So ideally, you'll be a pretty good person ultimately, and
yeah. And you listen, if you come out a little tweaky, you know, that's just the way it is. Like, there's plenty to be anxious about. You're not a bad person for you know, struggling with your mental health. Stockpile water. And yeah, please don't. Yeah, when the purge happens, just hide. I wouldn't go out into the masses and try to get yours, because just your genetics. If this is my offspring listening, you're just not gonna last. You're too lanky. You're gonna lose a limb.
So
I picture there being laser swords.
Lightsabers.
Yes. Yeah.
One of those. Whatever those are called.
One of those. But yeah, stockpile water. Don't be a shithead. Yeah, those are my.
And get an early stock on laser swords.
Yes.
Get into that market. So the way I normally wrap it up is I'll say hypothetically, I've gifted you this podcast. So this podcast is yours now. So evolving with Mike Lester. And this has been your first episode, the pilot episode of your podcast. I normally just ask that you would take that, that couple moments like Jerry Springer does in the Jerry Springer's Final Thought to sort of wrap it up in a nice tiny bow, nice pretty bow, where you're just kind of saying like what the takeaways are and what the life lessons to take away to inspire you to be a better version of yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
And then also right after you do that, then in your best Alf impression, say, "Hey, Willie."
Okay. I would say, well, whatever amount of success you gain, that doesn't make you better than anyone else. Be nice to people. If people come to you for advice, give them advice that other artists you've looked up to have given you. And yeah, just be nice. Don't be like Screech and, fucking piss your life away and murder someone on Christmas.
So many good tags.
Hey, Willie. Hey, Willie. Screech stabbed me. That's when you know you really fucked your life up, is when you die and you're like, literally, he was on Saved by the Bell, right? You don't even fucking trend on Twitter. Like, that's when you know you've been exiled by the globe.
Do you have anything you wanna put over?
Oh yeah. Yeah, listen to I Love You Mana. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter at Just Mike Lester. I put up content pretty regularly. Most of them are me in this weird filter lately where I'm talking about tripping on whitening strips. So I'll probably be institutionalized by June, I'm guessing, if I can't do stand-up soon. But no, everything's good. Join the I Love You Mana Discord. Be good. Drink water, because we're not going to have that for long, I'm guessing. So, just really relish that. But yeah, just socials at Just Mike Lester. If you want to see some old headshots and an old reel, go to MikeLesterHumor.com. But yeah, I had a fucking blast, dude.
I want to say this. I think what you were saying, the water's going to be the currency. I think the major currency is time and effort. So the fact that you've spent some of that currency on hanging out with me, and anybody listening, thank you so much for your effort. Thank you for your time. If it's your first time listening to Evolving with Corey Castle, please feel free to go back and check out the other 214 other episodes. Yeah. Also, hit that subscribe button so you get a new episode every Monday. And, tell all the people that you love them. And don't be a shithead. Be fun. Have safe. Keep evolving.
Yep. Keep evolving.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, dude.